The bridge was never meant to be defended for long. It was a narrow stretch of alloy and support beams hanging over a deep chasm of fog and fire. On one side lay the city's last evacuation route. On the other waited an alien army that had already crushed 3 divisions in under an hour. The human was alone. His name no longer mattered. His rank had stopped meaning anything after the first wave. The comms unit on his shoulder had gone silent somewhere around the second hour, burned out by heat and shrapnel. All that remained was the bridge, the rifle in his hands, and the steady sound of his own breathing inside a cracked helmet. Our one had been loud. Alien infantry rushed forward in tight formations, confident and fast. The human fired until the rifle overheated, then switched to sidearm, then back again once the cooling vents cleared. Bodies fell. Not piles, just enough to slow them. That was all he needed. Time. Our 2 brought heavier weapons. Plasma scorched the bridge rails. A blast threw him against the ground hard enough to blur his vision. He dragged himself up using the railing, left arm shaking, armor split at the shoulder. Pain flared, sharp and constant. He stayed standing. Hour 3 was quiet. Too quiet. Smoke drifted across the bridge. The alien forces stopped charging. They watched from the far end, eyes glowing behind masks and armor. They had learned something important. The human wasn't panicking. He was wounded. Bleeding. Running low on ammunition. But he was still there, still aiming down the bridge, still refusing to fall back even a single step. Behind him, far beyond the smoke, evacuation ships lifted one by one into the sky. He could not see them. He did not need to. He had been told how long it would take. He counted time in heartbeats now, not minutes. Hour 4 tested him. Snipers opened fire from angles he couldn't fully cover. One shot punched through his thigh. Another grazed his ribs. He fell to one knee, gasped, and forced himself back up. His legs screamed with every movement, but he adjusted his stance and kept firing. The bridge was slick with blood, some his, most not. Hour 5 brought the walkers. Heavy machines stepped onto the far end of the bridge, metal feet denting the surface. Their weapons glowed as they powered up. The human waited until they were halfway across before triggering the last of the explosives planted beneath the central supports. The blast didn't destroy the bridge. It bent it. The walkers toppled into the fog below, their weight tearing sections loose but leaving just enough structure intact. Enough for one man to stand on. Not enough for another charge. The alien stopped again. Hour 6 was when doubt tried to enter. His vision tunneled. His hands shook so badly he had to brace the rifle against the railing to aim. The bridge groaned beneath him, strained and wounded like its defender. He wondered, briefly, if anyone would remember this place. This moment. Then another wave came. Not fast. Not angry. Careful. They advanced step by step, shields raised, probing his reactions. He fired when he could. When the rifle clicked empty, he switched weapons without looking. When that ran dry, he used grenades. When those were gone, he used the environment, falling debris, unstable footing, anything that could by seconds. Seconds were everything. Hour 7 arrived without warning. The sky darkened. Alien banners appeared at the far end of the bridge. Command units moved into view. This was no longer a simple assault. This was attention. Somewhere far away, someone important was listening now. Hour 8 hurt the most. His armor was barely holding together. Warning lights flashed inside his helmet, then died one by one. He couldn't feel his left hand anymore. His right bled freely. Breathing felt like dragging air through fire. Still, he stood. Still, he faced forward. The aliens did not rush him anymore. They watched. 9 hours after the first shot was fired, the bridge fell silent. No weapons discharged. No orders shouted. The fog parted. From the far side, a shape approached, tall, graceful, surrounded by guards who stayed several steps behind. The air itself seemed to react to her presence, pressure shifting, sound fading. The human straightened as best he could. He did not know who she was yet. But every instinct told him this was no ordinary enemy. She stepped onto the bridge, alone. And the war paused to watch. The alien army did not attack after she arrived. They waited. The human felt it first as a change in the air. The pressure that had always pushed forward, urging the enemy to advance, suddenly vanished. Weapons lowered across the far side of the bridge. Command units went silent. Even the wounded stopped moving. Time slowed. The woman, no, the queen, walked forward with calm steps, her long cloak drifting just above the damaged surface. The bridge creaked under her weight, yet did not fail. She moved as if the structure itself knew better than to break beneath her. The human tightened his grip on the rifle. His hands barely listened anymore. Pain had become a dull, constant thing, like background noise. He checked his ammo out of habit and felt a brief, empty calm when he realized there were only a few shots left. It changed nothing. The queen stopped 10 paces away. Up close, she was taller than he expected. Not bulky. Not armored like a warlord. She wore ceremonial plating woven with living metal that shifted color as she breathed. Her eyes were dark and sharp, filled with focus rather than anger. She studied him the way one might study a broken machine that refused to stop working. "You have delayed us for 9 hours," she said. Her voice did not echo. It did not need to. It settled into the space around them, clear and controlled. The human did not answer. He kept the rifle aimed center mass, though his arm trembled so badly he doubted he could pull the trigger cleanly. Behind him, unseen, the final evacuation ships were loading. Engines warming. Ramps closing. The queen tilted her head slightly. "You are alone," she continued. "Your forces are gone. Your communications are dead. Your weapons are nearly spent." She took one slow step closer. "Step aside." The human's breathing rasped inside his helmet. Blood dripped from his fingers onto the bridge, dark spots spreading across the metal. "No," he said. It came out rough. Weak. But clear. The queen paused. For the first time, something flickered across her expression. Not surprise. Interest. "You cannot win," she said. The human shifted his stance, favoring the injured leg. Pain flared hot and sharp, but he stayed upright. "I don't have to," he replied. Silence followed. Around them, thousands of alien soldiers watched their ruler stand before a single human who should have collapsed hours ago. No one moved. No one spoke. The queen looked past him then, toward the far end of the bridge. Toward the city beyond the smoke. Toward the unseen ships lifting into the sky. Understanding settled slowly across her features. "You are buying time," she said. The human did not deny it. Her gaze returned to him, sharper now. Measuring. "Why?" she asked. "You will not survive this." The human laughed once. It hurt his chest. He coughed, blood misting the inside of his visor. "Yeah," he said. "That was never the plan." The queen circled him slowly, her steps careful, deliberate. She did not cross within arm's reach. She did not attack. She simply observed, his cracked armor, the ruined bridge, the thin line of space he still held. "You could kneel," she said. "I would order my forces to stand down. You would live. Your species would remember you as the one who chose reason." The human followed her movement with the rifle, slow but steady. "I didn't come here to be remembered," he said. She stopped in front of him again. "You are exhausted," she said softly. "Your body is failing. Your heart is near collapse." Her eyes narrowed. "Why do you still stand?" The human was quiet for a long moment. Then he answered. "Because if I sit," he said, "this bridge falls." The queen looked down at the damaged structure beneath their feet. The twisted supports. The barely held balance. She could feel it now, the strain, the fragile equilibrium. One step too many. One push too hard. The bridge did not care about armies or queens. It cared only about weight and time. The queen stepped back. The alien soldiers murmured, confused. She raised one hand, and they fell silent again. "You are not defending territory," she said. "You are defending people." The human said nothing. The queen straightened, her posture shifting from curiosity to something colder. Something deliberate. "Very well," she said. She turned slightly, signaling her guards, but not to attack. "To all units," she said calmly. "Hold position." Shock rippled through the alien ranks. The human blinked, confused, barely able to stay conscious now. The Queen faced him one last time. "Rest," she said. "You have earned nothing else." The human forced himself to remain standing. "Not yet," he whispered. Far behind him, engines roared. The last ships were lifting. The Queen watched the sky, then looked back at the human. And for the first time in centuries, she waited. The Queen waited longer than her generals liked. Minutes passed. Then more. Across the alien lines, tension grew sharp and dangerous. Commanders whispered into private channels. This was wrong. This was not how wars moved. A single human had already delayed them long enough. Now their Queen stood still, watching him breathe. The human barely noticed the time passing. His vision faded in and out. Sounds came muffled, as if underwater. He focused on one thing only, standing. Every second upright felt stolen. Every breath felt borrowed. The Queen studied him closely now, not as an enemy, but as a problem that refused to solve itself. His armor was beyond repair. Internal systems had shut down one by one. His heart rate was erratic. She could see it in the subtle tremor of his body, in the way his shoulders rose unevenly when he inhaled. By all logic, he should already be dead. "You should not be conscious," she said. The human did not respond at first. His head dipped slightly, then lifted again. "Still, he muttered. The Queen turned her gaze toward the far side of the bridge again. Her tactical feed updated in real time. Civilian signatures dropping. Transport vessels leaving the atmosphere. The numbers told the story clearly. The evacuation was almost complete. Behind her, a senior commander stepped forward despite protocol. "My Queen," he said carefully, "this delay is unacceptable. Our forces are ready. One concentrated strike will end this." She did not turn. "And collapse the bridge," she replied calmly. "Yes," the commander said. "Along with the human." "And everyone still crossing it," she said. The commander hesitated. "There should be no one left," he said. The Queen's eyes narrowed slightly. "Should," she repeated. She finally turned back to the human. "Your people are nearly gone," she said. "You have achieved what you set out to do." The human swallowed. Blood ran down his chin inside the helmet. "Nearly," he said. The Queen took a step closer. "This ends now," she said. "You will fall whether I act or not." She raised one hand, not in threat, but in control. The air around them seemed to tighten, pressure building. Not enough to crush him. Just enough to remind him who she was. The human's knees buckled. He caught himself on the rifle, using it like a crutch. His helmet cracked further with a dry snap. Still, he did not kneel. The Queen's expression changed. Not anger. Respect. "You are not brave," she said. "Bravery implies choice. You passed that point hours ago." She leaned down slightly so they were eye level. "You are committed," she said. "And commitment is dangerous." The human laughed again, weak and broken. "Yeah," he said. "We get that a lot." Silence settled over the bridge. Then a warning flashed across the Queen's display. Unidentified movement. Civilian. One signature still approaching the bridge from the city side. Her head snapped toward the far end. A transport vehicle burst through the smoke, damaged, burning, moving far too fast. Its engines sputtered as it crossed onto the bridge. Inside were dozens of life signs. Refugees who had been too slow. Too unlucky. The bridge groaned. The human saw it too. His breath hitched. "Hold," he whispered, not to the aliens, not to the Queen, but to the bridge itself. The Queen reacted instantly. "All units," she commanded. "Withdraw 50 meters. Now." Her guards moved without hesitation. Soldiers fell back in perfect order. The transport raced forward. The bridge shook violently. Cracks spread. Support beams screamed under the strain. The human planted his feet wider, body screaming in protest. He fired his last shots, not at soldiers, but at a damaged section of railing, blasting it free so the vehicle could pass. The rifle clicked empty. The transport roared past him, so close he could feel the heat from its engines. Its weight pulled at the bridge like a hand trying to tear it apart. For a moment, it felt like everything would collapse. Then it passed. The bridge held. The transport reached the far side and vanished into the smoke, engines flaring as it lifted away. The human sagged. His rifle slipped from his fingers and clattered to the deck. He dropped to one knee, then both. The Queen moved instantly, crossing the remaining distance in long strides. She caught him before his head hit the ground. Alien soldiers gasped. No ruler of her kind touched enemies. She held him easily, his weight almost nothing now. "It is done," she said softly. The human's eyes fluttered. "Everyone out," he whispered. "Yes," she answered. "All of them." His shoulders relaxed. Only then did he allow himself to fall still. The Queen looked down at the human who had held an army at bay with nothing but time and refusal. And she made a decision that would echo far beyond the bridge. The human did not wake. At least, not at first. The Queen carried him off the bridge herself. No restraints. No guards touching him. The alien army watched in absolute silence as their ruler crossed the battlefield with a broken human soldier in her arms. No one spoke. No one questioned it. Orders followed quickly after. The bridge was secured, not destroyed. Medical units were summoned, not execution teams. The advance was halted across the sector. Messages went out to the fleet with a single command. "Stand down." The generals protested. Quietly at first. Then with fear. This was not mercy. This was disruption. The Queen ignored them. In a medical chamber far from the smoke and ruin, the human lay on a white surface surrounded by unfamiliar light. Machines hummed softly as they worked to stabilize what little they could. His armor was cut away piece by piece, revealing a body pushed far past normal limits. Fractures. Burns. Organ strain. Severe blood loss. The medics worked in silence, careful and precise. The Queen watched. "He should not have survived," one of them said finally. "No," the Queen replied. "He should not have lasted." Time passed. Hours, perhaps. The Queen did not leave. When the human finally stirred, it was barely more than a twitch. His eyelids fluttered. His breath caught. He opened his eyes. The first thing he saw was her. He tensed instantly, muscles jerking despite the pain. His hands tried to move, failed. Panic flashed across his face. The Queen raised a hand, not in command, but reassurance. "You are safe," she said. The human swallowed. "Bridge," he whispered. "It stands," she answered. "And so do your people." His eyes closed again for a moment. "Good," he said. She studied him closely. "You were prepared to die," she said. "Yet you fought to live until the very last second." "Yeah," he murmured. "Dying early would have been sloppy." A strange sound escaped her before she could stop it. Laughter. Soft. Brief. Almost surprised. The medics froze. The Queen composed herself. "You defied my army," she said. "You delayed an invasion. You forced me to choose between victory and understanding." He opened one eye. "So," he asked, "did I win?" She met his gaze. "No," she said. "You changed the rules." The human considered that, then nodded weakly. "I'll take it." The Queen stepped closer. "You are not my prisoner," she said. "Nor are you my enemy." "That's new," he muttered. "You are a witness," she continued. "To what restraint looks like. To what resolve costs." She straightened. "The war will continue elsewhere," she said. "But not here. Not today." The human's brow furrowed. "You're letting them go?" "I am allowing them to live," she corrected. "Because they were protected." Silence hung between them. "Why?" he asked. The Queen looked away, just briefly. "Because power that cannot stop itself," she said, "is not strength. It is rot." The human breathed slowly, carefully. "My people won't believe this," he said. "They will," she replied. "I will ensure it." She turned to leave, then paused. "You held the bridge for 9 hours, she said without looking back. "No one will remember the number." She glanced over her shoulder. They will remember the choice. And for the first time since the war began, the humans slept without dreaming of the bridge. The story did not spread at first. Wars rarely pause long enough for truth to travel. Reports were buried under casualty numbers and shifting front lines. The bridge became just another marked location on tactical maps, important, then obsolete. But soldiers talk. Alien soldiers talked. They spoke of the day the advance stopped. Of the moment the Queen herself crossed a ruined bridge and returned carrying a human instead of a victory. They spoke of orders that made no tactical sense, yet were obeyed without question. And the story grew. Among humans, it spread differently. There were no grand announcements. No medals given in front of cameras. The evacuation logs simply showed an impossible delay, 9 hours where there should have been minutes. Someone noticed. Someone asked why. When the footage surfaced, partial, damaged, blurred, it showed one thing clearly: a single figure standing at the center of the bridge long after any reasonable person would have fallen. That was enough. The human survived, though recovery took months. Bones healed slowly. Nerves slower. He woke often in the night with the feeling of metal beneath his boots and fog rising on either side. He was offered promotions. He declined. He was offered a place far from the front. He declined that too. When asked why he stayed, his answer was always the same. Someone has to hold the line. The Queen kept her word. The sector around the bridge became neutral space. No fleets crossed it. No weapons fired within its range. Both sides honored the silence, not because treaties demanded it, but because no one wanted to be the one who broke it. The bridge itself was never fully repaired. It didn't need to be. Among the alien empire, the event entered military doctrine. A case study. Not of failure, but of limit. Commanders were taught to ask a new question before advancing. What will this cost us to finish? Among humans, the lesson was simpler. They did not speak of the Queen. They did not speak of mercy. They spoke of 9 hours. Of a bridge that should have fallen. Of a soldier who did not step back, not because he was fearless, but because fear had run out before duty did. Years later, long after the war ended, a memorial was placed at the site. No statue. No name. Just a simple marker welded into the railing, facing the gap where the fog still rose. It read, "Time was held here." Visitors, human and alien alike, sometimes stopped there. They stood quietly. They looked out over the chasm and imagined what it must have felt like to be alone, hurt, and still unwilling to move. Some walked away changed. Others did not. But the Queen remembered. She remembered the weight of a human soldier in her arms. The sound of his breathing. The moment she realized victory was not always about taking ground. Sometimes, it was about recognizing when someone had already given everything there was to give. And across the galaxy, whenever an army hesitated, whenever a commander paused instead of pressing forward, there was an echo of that bridge. 9 hours. One human. And a war that learned how close it came to losing something far more important than a battle.